So here we're in Revit. So this model that I'm working in here is not actually is not tracked by Kinship at this point. So there is this other button here, Model Sync Status. So if I click on Model Sync Status, it brings up this dialog. Now, this is the dialog that you will see if you are working in a work shared model that has been set so that it can be added to Kinship. And then you are the first person to do a sync with Central. So this dialog comes up and says, do you want to add it to Kinship? And the choices are, yes, add it to Kinship. Add it to Kinship as a private model, and do not add. So if you say do not add or you say close, then what happens is we remember that and we will not add the model to Kinship. And we won't ask anyone else, right? And so once I've done that, we won't ask again. Although you can always click on this, bring it up, and then choose, okay, I want to add it to Kinship. And so that's all there is to adding models to Kinship. Now so now if you want to see where your models are and explore them and see kind of some data on the models that you're working on, then you can do that from Kinship. And so I'm going to use a different different site for that because it has slightly better information. But this is the projects page, which is the default home page that you will come to first. And so it has the models that I'm working on at the top, and then any new models that have been added to Kinship. It has unassigned models. So if your model is here and it should be part of you just added a model and it gets put here, and you want to make it part of a project, then you can actually do that. For the initial assignment as a user, you can do that. You can assign it to the correct project. And then below we have projects, and we'll look at those in a bit. So if I want to look at all of the projects that I'm working on, all the models that I'm working on, then I can click that. And so now it shows me all the models. Although I can actually see all the models on our site. And I want to just quickly look at this one. And so this is the kind of information that you can see about a model if you're working on it, right? There's some general information at the top, including the project information workset. You can see where the central file is here by clicking on these three buttons, and it shows you the location of the central file. And I can open the model from here too. So anywhere where you have that kind of blue oval with open, it means you can open the model directly from Kinship into Revit, assuming that you have an appropriate version of Revit on your machine. I can see how much activity there's been, like who's been doing syncs with Central, where the families are, and who's the most active people who are working on this model right now. I also have across here more information that I can find about these models. So I can find any links, so any Revits, any linked Revit files. So this is the families. So I said that when we search, we also look in the families. We also store the families kind of in a section with just the models. And so this is where they are. And this is how you can browse and look at them, look for these families. Now, one thing you can do if you're working on a family, on a model, then you can look at the warnings. And so here we have warnings about families in my model. A corrupt family means a family that could not be extracted, and warnings means that according to the Autodesk best practices, there is something that could be improved about this family. You can click on it and go into view it in more detail. you can see the history. So this is any syncs with central, and so the yellow are syncs with central. There haven't been any failed ones. Those will be in red, and then we can see yeah, we can see how many families, how many instances, and what the file size was with the green, red, and black line here. And so we can see whether there are any sudden changes. And then you can see who has been synchronizing with central on the model. And so, you can see who's been doing the most action. And if any of the, if people have been making changes, so if there's some changes, this may be some way that you could go and find out, okay, well, who made that change? If there was change with a large number of families, then this would allow you to go and see that. You can see any comments that people make, and what the sync with central time was, and what the project size was. And then you can see the team. So as I said, you will be automatically added to the team as soon as you do a sync with central. So this model has 13 team members. And this has kind of the latest information on the syncs with central. So from here, I can go and have a look at the project. So this was a particular model. So I can click on that, and that will take me to the project for this that this model is a part of. And so the information that we have here is very similar, but now it's aggregated at the project level. And I can, if I have for these three models, I have the model tab, which shows me the models that are part of this project. And then these are just kind of the same information, but aggregated at the model level.